Hello friends of the electrified charging fun and welcome to Electrified Speicher, your channel all around Škoda's e-mobility. My name is Matthias and it's time for the next community news episode, April 2025. This time we will talk about the newly released ELROQ RS. Then there is a software update coming for the ENIACs with software version 4. Then I want to discuss a bit the big road trip coming up in June. And I've got a couple of things on my own behalf which are really interesting for you, I guess. And now let's go. Škoda has launched the ELROQ RS edition and it was a virtual premiere last week. Now they show the ELROQ RS at the Milano Fashion Week. For whatever reasons, maybe because they've designed some fancy sneakers with the Czech shoemaker Botas, I don't know. I was not in the studio to record that car and I certainly won't go to the Milano Fashion Week because, to be honest, filming such a car in a studio is boring. You can't drive, you have that artificial light, nah. It is exciting to see when I get my hands on that car to do a real-world test, and of course I will bring that video to you. But now let's look at the ELROQ and what makes an ELROQ an RS. Well, first off, of course it's the 250 kilowatts of power, 340 horsepower of the ELROQ RS comparable to the ENIAC RS. But you don't get an ENIAC RS with a facelift, right? Don't worry, you don't have to wait long. Soon there will be a new ENIAC RS. And of course you get with the ELROQ RS all-wheel drive for the first time, because the 85X of the ELROQ is not on the market, but again, it's coming very soon. You don't have to wait long, it's coming this year, so soon there will be also the 85X. And one thing is special, it got the 79 kilowatt hours net capacity battery from the ID.3 GTX. 84 is the gross value of the battery, and so it has 2 kilowatt hours more. This is not much, but it leads to some very important thing. Now the ELROQ RS can charge up to 185 kilowatts of power, and this leads to 26 minutes, 10 to 80%, which is 2 minutes faster than ENIAC and the other ELROQs. Yet we have to do real-world tests here to be sure. And no serious production model of Škoda ever has a faster acceleration to 100 kilometers or 60 miles an hour. 5.4 seconds needs the ELROQ RS to speed up. Yet at 180 kilometers an hour, it's done. Again, we won't see 200 kilometers an hour, and I think unless you're living in Germany, you simply don't care about that top speed. To bring that power onto the road, it has a sport suspension, which has lowered the chassis 15 millimeters at the front and 10 millimeters at the rear. DCC yet is additional equipment you have to pay for. And additionally, they worked on the sounds of the AVAS system. So the system which makes sounds up to 30 kilometers an hour to warn pedestrians. There is no more normal sound, there is a sport sound and a new sound design called futuristic. Whatever that means, I'm curious how that sounds in reality. Then they've added more stuff into the standard equipment of the car, like you get the matrix LED, you get an electric driver's seat. The passenger seat, however, you have to buy. As an extra, you get the illuminated tech deck, you've got the travel assist and Cassie Advanced. And let's see how this works out to the price as soon as the car's in the configurator. But enough of facts and figures, let's look at that car. And first, let's look at the exterior, and yes, Mamba green is back, that iconic color from the ENIAC back in the days. And all other colors are the standard you get with every other ELROQ. Unfortunately, Phoenix Orange didn't make it back. And the exterior design is only slightly altered if you compare it to a first edition, yet it is heavily altered compared to a Sportline or a normal ELROQ. And if you remember the first edition, you saw a lot of things on the RS already there. For example, those in body color painted inserts down at the air intake. This is first edition design. What's new here are the applications at the air curtains, those black ones. They look a bit like on an ENIAC RS, but that's it. The glossy black mirror caps, again, we know from the first edition. And the 21-inch Wheels, well, yes, they now have a green stripe on them. With the first edition they had a red one, but it's the same wheel. And on the rear, again, we see a lot of things from the first edition with that reflector over the whole width of the bumper and with that glossy black inlay down at the bumper. So no, not so much changes from first edition, but really strong changes, especially compared to the Sportline. And when we look at the interior, well, there's a lot of green going on. And as far as I know, there is only that design selection. Hopefully there might be another one which is only black, because here you've got that green stitchings and that green pattern on the seats and. You really have to love green if you get that interior, but they missed out one big opportunity here from my point of view. Why aren't the seat belts in green as well, like they did with the first edition and the orange seat belts? Well, one thing I noticed, which I kind of like, this is the door sills they built in, the black ones. They look quite well on that car. But let's talk more about an ELROQ RS as soon as I have one on the road. Good news for all ENIACs with software version 4, so 4.0 and 4.1. An update is coming, and in the moment where you're watching this video, the update campaign is already started. Yet, if you now expected or hope that it will be software version 5, I have to disappoint you. It's not. It's software version 4.1.2, yes, a patch version. And you can't even see that in your car because there is only major and minor version displayed. You don't know where? Well then, go to your infotainment, upper left corner, hit vehicle, go to the tile, the menu with information about software, and there it is. And if you can't find it there, well, then it is in the bottom bracket on the right side under apps, but if it is there, you're already on software version 5, so this information is not for you. And to know what they improved with 4.1.2, we have to split it into what's in for 4.1 and what's in for 4.0. So let's start with software version 4.1. First off, the good news, you will get that update over the air. You do not have to visit the dealership or a workshop, you simply have to wait until it's there. The campaign has started on the 3rd of April, and at the time recording, my ENIAC did not receive that update yet, so I can tell you only what Škoda told me. And here's what you get as improvements. First off, smoother system performance, whatever that means. And second, even better charging stability, whatever that means. And the last one, but the most important one for me, they are doing a prerequisite for the next over-the-air update. And we talk about that in a minute, because whatever that means. And the update is done in the background, and if you already got that, please write me in the comments if this was easy or if you've got problems. But now, what's with the ENIACs with software version 4.0? Well, bad news first, not over the air for you. With a 4.0, you have to make an appointment with your workshop or dealer. Or, if you don't want, you can wait until the next service is due and they will do the update then. But what do you get? Well, in addition to what software version 4.1 gets, you'll get some stuff which might be important for you. First off, they are fixing recognition issues in the intelligent parking assistant, so it should work a bit better. Second, they increased the GPS signal stability, so you have less losses, you can see the position in the My Škoda app, for example, better, and in the car as well. The next one might be the reason to call for an appointment. It is the improved 12-volt battery charging stability. And again, despite the performance and the charging stability, they pointed out again the preparation for future over-the-air updates. And the update process will take a couple of hours at your dealership, so yeah, you have to decide whether to call or not. Of course, the update is free of charge. Now let's come to my take on this update. Why do they do such a thing like a patch version 4.1.2? So keep in mind, software 4.0 came end 2023 with a technical facelift. And already a couple of months later, starting 2024, software version 4.1 was released. My ENYAC May 2024 has software version 4.1. And with the model year change in August 2024, they already delivered software version 5. This brings some questions into my mind. Does Volkswagen, CARIAD and Škoda really work actively on software version 4, which is basically the same than software version 5? They are more or less identical. And they are working on software version 5. Of course, they are working on software version 3, and I bet they are already working on the next generation of software version 6. So working on 4 major releases, well, I would say Volkswagen could do that, but I really hope they don't. For me, I would say they are not working on software version 4 anymore. They skipped it. And then, this is pure speculation here, by the way. Nothing of this is official from Škoda. But if you ask me, when I look at all those facts and figures, there's only one explanation left. And this is also because they stated we doing prerequisites for over-the-air updates. And this means they are preparing the cars to bring them to software version 5.4. And let's see how this might work out in the future. If Škoda and Volkswagen will prove me wrong, all right. It's road trip time in June, and we are going from Switzerland to Norway, of course purely electric. Well, that's my wife, our dog Mali, and me. And of course I have already some content prepared, for example the long distance trip and how to do that. We're going with a ferry from Denmark to Norway, and you can charge on that ferry. They have chargers on that ferry. Then we've got an off-grid cabin in Norway with a photovoltaic and the battery storage, and you can charge there. Yes, they have a wall box and much more. But this time I want to ask you, the community, what you're interested in. What should I test? What should I do? Write in the comments, write an email, whatever you prefer, and tell me what you want to see. What car should I drive? Should it be an ENYAC Coupe, or an ELROQ, or should I even look beyond the rim of the Škoda teacup and drive a different brand? So an alternative for the ENYAC you want to see, maybe from one like me who really deep dives into the ENYAC and the ELROQ and knows everything about, yet now testing another car. Just to be clear, it won't be a Tesla. I don't drive Teslas, but every other brand. Write me in the comments, write emails. I'm really curious what you're interested in, and I will try to make that happen. On my own behalf, this time with only one topic, and I am so happy that I can finally announce my new website is now also available in English. And therefore, you did not even notice the first version of my website. Yes, you heard that right, I already built a second version, because the first one was limited somehow. I did it with Squarespace. I was not happy with them. So the new website is completely under my control, built with WordPress, and it is hosted here in Switzerland at Infomaniac. So all the data stays in Europe, to be more precise, here in Switzerland. And the analytics tool on my website stores all the data, all the insights. I want to know what you are watching, what is interesting for you and what not. It stores everything in my database, and there is not a single analytics stat going out to some third party. This is only my database and me seeing this. And that feels much better, and that suits me much better than the first version I had, and it suits the plans I have with this website. Therefore, I already got a new domain. It's evspeicher.eu. And in our current situation on the world, I have to admit, I kind of like that statement. Of course, you can also use evspeicher.com to reach that. And there's a new email. You see it down here, charge@evspeicher.eu. Please use this in the future from now on. Of course, all the other emails from me are also working, but that's the one to go with. And if you do not want the English version for whatever reason, you can simply switch on every site to German. But I bet the English version is the one you want to go with. That's it for these community news in April. And if you like that video, please give it a thumbs up and consider to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel so you do not miss out any new information on Škoda's e-mobility. And a big thank you to all of you who are supporting me. I am so grateful for that. I appreciate that so much. It is fantastic. Thanks a lot for helping me making all of this here possible. And I really hope to see all of you in my next video. And until then, stay full of energy.